the tourism industry. Today, that is our lesson, and we're going to look at what is the tourism industry all about. The tourism industry is all activity related to short-term movement of people to locations away from where they usually reside. One of the world's largest industries, actually. It is employing a lot of people. And one thing about the tourism industry, it is where the product never gets finished. If you have a steel factory, you're going to be using steel, it will diminish. If you have a crop plantation like sisal, the crop or the product gets finished. In tourism, the product is still there. If the lions are there, they'll be seen by as many as the tourists can come, as fast as they come, as long as the lions are alive. If it's the sea, it's there. If it is the mountain, Kilimanjaro. So one of the world's largest industries, and the economies of many nations are driven to a large extent by their tourist trade. Zanzibar, one of them, Seychelles, one of them, even Kenya. We're trying to actually expand so that we can, the tourism industry, so that it can actually be a significant part of the GDP. A wide-ranging industry, which includes hotel industry, the transport industry, and several additional. We'll look at those. Okay. So those are statistics you can look at. The World Travel and Tourism Council economic impact talks about the tourism sector generates 11.1 trillion. Look at the figure trillion. Just look at the figure trillion, and it's 10% of the world's total economy. So the tourism industry is very, very important. That basically that's what it means, and it's something that is an industry to reckon with. So who's a tourist? A tourist travels to another location away from the usual social environment for business, pleasure, or social reason. To be classed as a tourist, a person needs to stay at that location for longer than 24 hours, but for no longer than 1 year. So that's the definition of a tourist. If you stay in a place 24 hours, less than a year, you qualify as a tourist. And if you're going there for business, pleasure, social reasons. What motivates the tourist to travel? Various factors: refreshment of the body and mind, or the pursuit of excitement, entertainment, or pleasure. Alternatively, they might be driven by cultural curiosity. Cultural tourism is picking up a lot. So that might be one. Self-improvement, business, a desire to visit friends and family, or to form new relationship. Business travelers are usually classed as tourists. Many definitions of the word exclude those who travel to make an income in the place where they travel. All right, so you can look also at the statistics. Tourists reached 1.4 billion, the ones that were recorded, and this was before the COVID. So tourists, we're talking about 1.4 billion people moving from one location to another location, either for entertainment, for rest, for business, and so on. Benefits of tourism: economic growth, generates revenue through tourists. The key aspect: supports various sectors, hospitality, transport, and entertainment. What are the impacts on the economies and communities? It boosts local economies and creates jobs. Cultural exchange, this is a big one, facilitates cultural interaction and understanding. And the impact: fosters tolerance, diversity, and global awareness. I mean, people, the more they get to be aware of each other, the less conflict, the less war. Iran, US, the conflict runs, and most probably because of the cultural difference, how each sees the world. Environmental conservation funds conservation efforts through tourism fees and donations. So tourism actually supports and gives financial support to conservation, supports the protection of natural habitats and wildlife, raises awareness about the importance of environmental preservation. We go to community development, that's another one. We go to a community, you work with a community. The tourism, they encourage investment in local infrastructure and services, enhances the overall quality of life for residents, creates opportunity for local business and entrepreneurship in the village level, so to speak. So what are the sectors within the tourism industry? First big one is transportation. There's the airline industry, flying car rentals, water transport. These are cruise ships, ferries, for coach services. These are buses which offer long-term services. There's also the railway. There's spacecraft that's being done by Elon Musk. Virgin Galactic also is done by somebody called Branson. It's got the Virgin Airlines, and it's tourism, so to speak, transportation. Second sector, accommodation. That's the hotels, shared accommodation. Shared accommodation has emerged as a major option for tourists. What is this accommodation is Airbnb, where users can list spare rooms and rent them out. So a good example of shared accommodation is Airbnb. So the users can list spare rooms and rent them out to travelers on a short basis. That's what it's all about. What other sectors? We're still in there. Accommodation, we have hostels, lower priced accommodation option, viable for those operating on a lesser budget. But here you'll be in a hostel means you are many, you're packed many. You might not have your privacy. Camping, this is usually outdoor in a tent. There are also bed and breakfast room, just that cater for guests and offer overnight stays and breakfast in the morning. We're still on accommodation cruises, the ships. When you get into a cruise ship, you're definitely going to be accommodated. You'll sleep there, eat in the ship, and you might be at sea for 6 months, 3 to 6 months. Farmhouse accommodation and agri-tourism, time-shared accommodation. Look at those closely. I have the material there. The third sector, food and beverages. We have restaurants, catering. The third one is bars and cafes. This is another sector in food and beverages. Nightclubs. The fourth area is entertainment. These are sectors within the tourism industry. So the first one, transportation, then we have accommodation, then we have food and beverages, now we have entertainment. Casinos, these are quite expensive. Tourist information centers, shopping, the people who just like to shop, so an entertainment to them. Tourist guides and tours, also another. Then connected industry, financial services, they'll need to change dollars, they'll need to get money. Travel agents who book these tourists, either the flight or make sure that they have a package wherever they are going. Tour operators, online travel agencies. These are the connected industries. All right, we're still on what are the sectors within the tourism industry. We have tourism organizations. They look out for the tourism industry and act on its behalf. Like you can see, UNWTO, World Tourism Organization. We have the logo there. Can also have educational, includes an educational component with people traveling to attend conferences or exhibition, often centered around specialized topics. Types of tourism. The first one, cultural tourism, motivated by a desire to learn about and engage with the history, tradition, practices, and cultural attraction of a location. So they come in, they can stay with or they get to the village, they can stay with the people, eat with them, go fetch water, do what the people do, the everyday life, and they join. This is really gaining a lot of traction. People are moving away from the convention where you come lie on the beach like a lizard, get the sun, get the sand, swim, and maybe commit some sin at night. Now they are wanting to really get to engage with the people. Sports and events tourism. The marathons, for example, make a lot of money. Chicago Marathon, you have people coming for football and so on. That makes quite a lot of money in terms of tourism, and it brings a lot of people. Then the sustainable tourism aims to minimize the impact of tourism on the environment, nature, and local communities. At its best, it balances the needs of local people, businesses, and travelers while protecting wildlife, helping to make tourism more viable. That's another type of tourism where you actually minimize your imprint on the land. Adventure tourism, mountain climbing or cliff climbing or rock climbing, can have bungee jumping. Adventure tourism often promotes environmental stewardship, supports remote economies. For example, Nepal's Annapurna circuit brings income to over 1,000 rural families annually, something we need to think in Kenya and Taita. Recreational tourism or leisure travel, you can have kayaking, you can have bicycle rides. That's recreational tourism or leisure travel. Catering for recreational tourists, providing plenty of activities and entertainment options also allows the tourism industry in a destination to grow, providing jobs and boosting local economy. Through recreational tourism, people are often able to physically recharge while boosting their mental health. Then we have business tourism or corporate travel. A huge part of the tourism industry is usually motivated by a desire to exchange knowledge, forge business relationships. So that is travel for business purposes. It's referred to as business tourism. This is quite lucrative. People traveling to network, people traveling to actually go see the satellite factories or industry. We have international multinationals in Kenya. Coca-Cola, you might find executive traveling all the way from the States to come and see what's happening in Africa, and they go all over Africa. Domestic tourism, staycations. This can be easier to organize, meaning convenience is a motivating factor. And what form of tourism is this? Where a person travels to another location within the country in which they usually reside. This domestic tourism, DTA, that's what we're doing. They may include staycations, weekend breaks, and other similar trips. Rural tourism, basic definition of rural tourism is tourism that is focused on areas away from major settlements like towns and cities. So you really go to the bundus, you go to the village, you go where maybe there's no tapped water, there's no electricity, you just want away from the cities. There's medical tourism. India, they're doing very well. Many people go to India, especially for cancer. That's the center for that. You can also go to the United States. They also go Britain from Kenya. And this happens quite a lot where you have specialists in an area, in a country, then people will tend to go there. It's called medical tourism. Culinary tourism or food and drink tourism. Culinary or food tourism describe travel that is primary motivated by food experiences. You might want to go to Turkey to see the foods in Turkey. You might want to go to Saudi Arabia to see the foods in Saudi Arabia, or might go to Seychelles to see the foods in Seychelles. Okay, we're still on that. There's agri-tourism, farm and ranch stays, where you just go to a ranch and you're actually involved in agriculture of that place, or you are involved in taking care of cattle in that place. There's also dark tourism, black tourism, or grief tourism. Go to haunted places or haunted castles. You go to cemeteries, or you go to concentration camps like those which were in Germany, the Auschwitz, or the killing fields in Cambodia, the World Trade Center, Chernobyl nuclear. That's called dark tourism, where there is grief or where there was a major disaster that took place. There's also religious tourism. The Muslims go to Saudi Arabia to the Kaaba, it's a pilgrimage. The Christians go to Israel. That's called religious tourism. All right, so that's the tourism industry in a nutshell. Look at the video, study. Make sure you make notes. It's going to be on YouTube. So make notes on the comment section. See you in the next video. Tour guiding.